local people, local news and events, local sports, local matters. For all things Lloydminster and area, this is Live with Kurt Price.
Welcome inside the new Lloydminster Nissan, where the 2025s have arrived. If you're looking for a bigger family vehicle, we invite you to come down and check out a brand new 2025 Armada, completely redesigned. If you live out in the country, you might want to check out an Armada Pro 4X. If you're looking for a new SUV with lots of space for big guys like me, well, you can check out the Armada or the Murano, and they've completely redesigned the Nissan Murano, and it looks absolutely spectacular in the interior and the exterior. Come see us today at the new Lloydminster Nissan, where Alberta and Saskatchewan safeties right now are only $79.99. Elenee Young is here. Elenee was nominated for a Juno at the end of the month, and we'll find out what it feels like to be nominated for such a huge award. When I called and asked her if she would come on the show, I said, "Will you still visit with minions like me?" And she said, "For now, until I win." No, I think she was joking. Superior Water specializes in nothing but water, and with over 22 years in the business, they're proud and confident that their water and their service is superior. For iron filters, water softeners, reverse osmosis distillers, chlorine removal, and H2S odor removal, give Superior Water a call today, 780-875-6636, or stop and see them at their 57th Avenue location, right beside Sheepskin Loft, and stay hydrated with pure, clean water. I drink Superior Water because I like the taste. After all, it is superior water. The future of women's hockey is coming to Lloydminster for the 2025 Esso Cup. From April 20th to 26th, watch the host Lloydminster Steelers face off against 5 regional champions from across Canada at the Centennial Civic Centre. Full event ticket packages are on sale now. They start at $90. Visit hockeycanada.ca/Esso Cup to get your tickets and be there when Canada's women's under-18 club champions are crowned. Lloydminster Bandits with a huge game tonight at the Civic Centre. A chance to go up on Wainwright 3-0 in the Northeast Alberta Junior B Hockey League Final. The puck drop is at 8 o'clock tonight. Game 4, Friday night, 7:30. There's a couple of huge events tonight at the Lloydminster Exhibition, and both are in the WLC Convention Centre. Starting at 6:30, there's a round dance and an Indigenous Makers Market. Cynthia Young told us there are plenty of reasons for round dances, and this round dance will be a learning experience.
Our MC, Jackson, will make sure he throws little bits in there too. Come and dance with us. We dance for this, and we dance for that, and remember our horses that take care of us. And he's such a good, energetic kind of guy, and he just gets everybody going.
So if you've never been to a round dance, this is the one to go to. The previous one they held, they had so many people, the floor was shaking. There's a lot of energy at those round dances. And there'll be some vendors at the round dance as well. Emery Marchand is helping organize the Indigenous Makers Market.
I am currently on the Indigenous Student Council at Lakeland College, and so I've been working with them to help organize that. I've reached out to vendors, and so really helping with that. And then I helped organize the arrangements, because it's all in one room. And when we have 24 vendors, so we got a really, really good come out for that.
The Border City Card Show is back at the Gold Horse Casino on Saturday from 11 to 4. Former NHL players Jason Strudwick and Al Stewart will be there signing autographs. The event is sold out as far as vendors go, and Chris Brinklow is the organizer and said there will be more than just hockey cards for sale at this event.
There'll be lots of Pokemon, there'll be Magic, there'll be some even obscure stuff that's not just hockey. There'll be lots of football. Football's huge. Like, you try finding a box or a blaster box of football, NFL, they're going for like $400, $500, $600 because the football is just insane.
Congratulations to our latest Cupcakes for Caregivers recipient, Jennifer Halberg, with Victim Services here in Lloydminster. Cupcakes for Caregivers is proudly presented by Lloydminster and District United Way and Sobeys in Lloydminster. It's an opportunity to recognize those individuals in our community that do so much to take care of others. You can help by nominating a caregiver. you can recognize a caregiver by sending us an email and telling us a little bit or a lot about that special person. Send an email to livewithkurtprice@gmail.com. BioClean Disaster Services is committed, certified, reliable, and will help you get your life back. BioClean Disaster Services is not only Lloydminster's local restoration company, and I know you see their logo on the pool and see it everywhere else, including presenting at this weekend's Spring and Sports Leisure Show, but they're also Lloydminster's largest restoration company, local and the largest. 1-833-246-8326, because when a disaster hits, getting your life back is going to be very important to you, and it's going to be just as important to BioClean Disaster Services, who take care of your property and your belongings, but more importantly, you and your family. BioClean Disaster Services, Lloydminster. We're going to take a break here, and when we come back, we've got Elenee Young joining us, and I think she's going to join us anyway, and she's going to talk to us about that big Juno Award nomination.
At CK McKean Roofing, they understand what it took to put that roof over your head for your family. With over 20 years of experience under their belt, they strive to show you that with their workmanship and their integrity. Not all roofing companies are created equal, and that's why CK McKean Roofing encourages you to focus on your most important investments, your home and your family. CK McKean Roofing. Roofers do it on top.
At Diamond 7 Meats, we work with local farm families to provide a high-quality product and a great selection for you. Try our mouth-watering smokies, pulled pork, roast beef, and more, made pure and natural with no additives or fillers. We offer custom processing, and our experienced team works for you to provide a selection of sausage, burgers, and jerkies made to your specifications. Take your grilling to the next level with a Yoder smoker. Complete the grilling experience with a Canadian-made, award-winning line of House of Q barbecue sauces. We're locally owned and operated, and we look forward to seeing you today.
At Lloydminster and District Co-op, membership matters more. Because being part of a co-op means you're connected to something bigger than yourself. From long-held legacy by those who built our communities, to people you call family, friends, and neighbors. When you're a Lloyd Co-op member, you're an owner in a local business that prides itself on purpose alongside profit. You earn cash back, you help support causes that matter most, and you're building a better way of life for the next generation. Membership matters more.
Welcome back inside the new Lloydminster Nissan. Discover Wellings and experience and discover more freedom with every choice you make. Join Wellings for a spring open house on Saturday, April 12th, and enjoy some refreshments, tour the community, and uncover a stress-free and carefree way of life. Again, that's Saturday, April 12th from 10 to 4. Discover your 55-plus lifestyle at Wellings of Lloydminster, 3211 72nd Avenue on the Alberta side. Visit wellingsoflloydminster.com for more information. Well, yeah, we're excited to have you back here at the new Lloydminster Nissan. We're excited to have Elenee back with us as well. It was about a year ago that Elenee was on our program. We broadcast from the Lloydminster exhibition, and she was looking at a Kickstarter. Well, things have really gone full circle, and that album has exploded for Elenee in more ways than one, and we're excited to have her here. Thanks for coming, Elenee.
Oh, thanks. Always a pleasure to be on the Kurt Price Show.
Well, I feel like last year you were like, Elenee, and this year you're like, oh, Elenee, the star is coming in. Like last year.
You see my eyes rolling? Oh, my
God. Yeah. But let's go back a year. Let's go back a year and talk about that Kickstarter.
Yeah.
You came on the show. You talked about what you were going to do if it did happen, what you're going to do if it didn't happen. And then you had this album in mind to make this album. And did it turn out exactly the way you had thought it would from the moment you said, I'm going to have a Kickstarter, this is what the album's going to look like? This is what's going to sound like.
Yeah.
And did you want it to be, like a lot of albums will have, like, I think of like, this is kind of a stupid comparison, but Marty Robbins, gunfighter ballads, and
yeah.
it's like every song kind of leads into the next song. Every like Meatloaf's "Bad Out of Hell." Every song
Right.
on that album is good, but they lead into each other. Like they just set each other up so good. Like I'm so excited to talk to you about this.
I love that. I feel like we need to like just do a break where we just play Marty Robbins. And just go. Be like, we'll be back in 35 minutes.
Well, I love Marty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so good.
But like just take us through that process of making that album.
This album was like years in the making. I can't honestly say that in a less grievous way. Like it took so long to put things together, and nothing wrong with things taking a long time, but when I'm an instant gratification millennial, it's like a flaw of who I am. And so it was hard for me to say, okay, I'm going to write these songs and then they're going to sit in like a Dropbox folder and I'm not going to put them on anything. I'm not going to release them until the time is right. I hate that feeling. I don't know. Maybe it's a creative, like when I make something I love, I'm just like, everybody needs to see this and hear this,
You're a victim of your time.
Really, I truly
think so.
am. Yeah. And I mean, it goes, yeah, my kids are the same way. It's today, 2025, we're all a little bit impatient with life. So,
Well, I think it's changed a lot of things because
yeah.
I'm kind of that way now too, where it's instant.
Yeah.
Like think about how when the internet started and it was dial up and you had to wait and you're like, oh, it's just a couple, and now you wait for a couple and you're like, oh, something's wrong.
right. Or like
What's wrong with this thing?
Like
It's not
Facebook
working.
takes an extra like 30 seconds to like refresh and you're just like,
Yeah, exactly. And we've gone from what is
Yeah.
hard work to not hard
Totally.
work. And the hard work is the stress work of, is this thing working?
yeah.
Like,
Is that funny?
yeah, it's changed us all, actually.
Yeah.
And like part of what I do here is the long interviews. I know a lot of people will watch like clips and stuff like that, but I really like to get in depth of people and find out, like when
Yeah.
we had that conversation last year, I learned so much about you. Like, so much that I didn't know
Yeah.
about you. And it made me want to, like, that's what made me want to contribute to the Kickstarter.
Also, thank
Is, you know what I mean? Elenee is not only our friend, but this is what she's trying to do and stuff. So take us through. So you've written these songs, you got them sitting in,
Yeah.
a drawer somewhere.
Drawer. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
The cloud. And
See, that's new for me too.
Yeah. And I remember just feeling like I love these songs and everybody's going to like these. Well, everybody, my target audience is going to love these songs and I want to put them out there, but of course it costs so much money to put music out there in general. So like that's its own problem. But then also like there was a sense in me that it didn't really feel like the time was right until I put out that Kickstarter. Like it was kind of like, okay, we've done the hard work, we've waited, and now it's like, there's just this thing within me that's like, okay, now it's time. You don't necessarily have the money, but you have that piece that feels like the time is right, if that makes sense, like the green light. So I did a Kickstarter, and I did not know what to expect. It was an all or nothing, that's how Kickstarter works. So you either get everything or you get nothing. And so I was so nervous going into it, and I was pretty humble in the ask. Like what I really needed was about 12 to 15,000. But I asked for 8 because I was like, I'm asking too much. Like 8,000 is way too much anyways, So I put it out there and I was so shocked, Kurt, at like the Lloydminster and surrounding area community that came together and supported the project. Like I had been going viral at the time, so that was its own thing. So I had been getting all these new followers. I had gained like 50,000 followers in a really short period of time. And so I was like, okay, yes, like I'm gonna get all these people to contribute. I don't know if many of the followers contributed. And I feel like most of those who actually put money towards it were real fans, like real long-term people that have been rocking with me for a while, or they were people that are living in Lloydminster, or the area. So I was so shocked. And so we did end up meeting the goal, and we actually ended up getting overfunded, which was really cool. So I ended up getting almost 9,000. And so that kickstarted literally everything into high gear. So it was just like getting all these songs out of the drawer, as you call it, and into, you know, the right hands of people that had to make it sound really great. And yeah, and then of course deadlines got pushed. Like we ended up not releasing it until October 18th. It was supposed to be released in June. Then we moved it to August, and then it got moved to October. But that's just, it's fine. It's the creative space that we live in. So yeah, it was so cool. And like I said, it was shocking in this way for me to feel that support from the community.
Was it kind of like a find out who your friends are kind of thing?
In a way, here's the thing. I don't attribute someone's friendship to me based on money or how much they can give.
Not in that sense, but like people you can count on.
For sure, because I knew people that would message me and they said, hey, to be honest, like I don't have the money to spend on this right now, but I'm going to share it. And it's just like, that was so helpful. Like that to me was like, thank you so much. You know, someone maybe aligns with the project and they'll support from your page or whatever. But it was like, yeah, I feel like I felt just this new wave of support from people that I would have never expected.
Oh, I never thought of saying that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So, because it was a Kickstarter, and do you feel like now with the Juno nomination, with the awards that are coming, because there's a Saskatchewan Music Award in there as well, do you feel like I feel like the whole community has rallied around you?
100%.
Like I read the article in the paper. You've been on TV. This is kind of like the last thing, and I was like, why am I? You know, if I hadn't been booked up, you'd have been on here right away. But you know, like it feels like the whole community is not only excited for you, they're excited with you.
Yeah, and kind of going back to the Kickstarter, I feel like, and I hope, this is like my hope and prayer, for those who did support the Kickstarter in some way, whether it was sharing it or contributing financially or, you know, just talking about it. I think that in a sense, like even those who shared our interview on your page, like to me, that's supporting. But it was like, this is their shared Juno nomination. Like this is their Saskatchewan Music Award. For those who like are actually making me make music, like this is their stuff. This is their award. So I hope people feel that ownership. Like I want people to feel that way.
I feel like they do.
Do you feel that way?
I do. I just feel
like
it around the community. Because people will stop you and they'll say, how about Elenee, eh?
Yeah.
She got a Juno nomination. You know what I mean? Like, how about Elenee? Have you heard?
Yeah.
You know, like they're generally as excited to tell you about you as you would be to tell someone, and it's happening to you directly.
I know.
But I feel like I said to Heather, I'm like, is this the album? Because I didn't know. I was like, is this the album that she's nominated for that we did the Kickstarter? And she was like, yeah. Like I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like that was the album because it was so long ago
Yeah,
to me.
true.
But I was like, hey, we helped with that. You know what I mean? Like, you know what? Like, and I feel like people are really taking pride in that. Do you feel that though?
I think so. I think, yeah. And I mean, I could tell like a little story about this Juno thing. So, I've shared this a couple times. So if you've heard this before, I'm sorry, but I got an email. I was in Greece this past September, and I got an email from just some people that I know within the networkings of the music industry in Canada. And they're like, FYI, they're planning to eliminate the following categories: Christian and gospel, children's, and Afrobeats, I think was the other one, or something like that. I was like, oh no. I had compiled this album. I had planned the release date strategically before this cutoff date, which was I think November 1st or 2nd or something, so that I could submit for the Junos. And let me also say, getting an award or a nomination, like it's not like the end all be all, but for a small independent artist, it does open a lot of doors. And so I was kind of like, this is my one shot. I don't know when the next time I'll be able to make an album, because they only take albums. So it's like, I don't know when that's going to happen again. So like, this is my one shot, and they're taking it away from me. And I think all of us in our genres respectively, you know, whether it was children's or Afrobeats or Christian gospel, I think all of us felt this sense of like urgency to submit. So I knew personally at least 15 people that submitted albums for the Junos, like more than I think have ever been submitted. And we just wanted to show, you know, the Academy that there is a thriving genre of Christian and gospel music. I'm not sure I can speak on behalf of Afrobeats or children's, but for our genre, it was like I knew so many people that had put their albums together and that had submitted these. They were like, we need to show them that we are thriving, you know? And so mine got thrown into that pile of people, like independent, small, like artists in their basements making beats, you know, people that are signed by labels. Everybody just put their music in and submitted. And so they ended up keeping our category, which was great, and I felt like relief. But at the same time, knowing how many people had submitted, I was very sure that I was not going to get a nomination. And I know the people that had put albums out, that I think their albums, like, I don't want to say they're better than mine, but like, you know, like there's the same level of excellency that get put into it. And I don't say that about every album, but I know a few off the top of my head that got submitted, and I'm just like, how are they not in there? So that morning on February 11th, which was the day after
We recorded
our Valentine's Day segment, I asked Jer to stay home from work, like for the morning, so that I could feel rejection with someone. Like I was fully prepared to not be nominated for a Juno. So I set up my camera. I have like a, you know, fancy camera, and I set up the tripod, and I set it up in a way where I wanted to show my followers and like the people that are watching and following along. I literally made a note in my phone with the intention of being like, this is how to deal with disappointment as an artist. And I was fully prepared. I have the notes still on my phone with the reel. Like I was going to make a reel, and it was going to be like, here's a video of me, you know, finding out that I'm not nominated for a Juno. And this is kind of how I'm dealing with it as an artist, and like dealing with rejection and disappointment. I was ready. I've got the note. I click on the thing at 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time or whatever, and I'm just like, here we go. And, you know, scrolling. Of course, my category is all the way at the bottom, so just like the suspense continued, and like my stomach was like, oh, I was so nervous. And my name was the first name on the category, and it's because it's alphabetical order. So there's my name at the very top, and I am like freaking out because I'm like, I literally like my heart, I feel like just went and like my head was gonna explode, and I felt like I was gonna throw up. I was so freaked out by it because it was so unexpected. Do you know what I mean? And so to be in that category as the only truly independent artist, so I'm up against like, they'll say they're independent, but they'll have like a publishing or some kind of a label that's backing them in some regard. So I don't have any of that. And I am the only like female in the category. So I'm just like, you know, there's a couple of them that are collectives. So there are women in the collectives, but like it's me against like 4 other predominantly male categories. So like artists. So I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? I don't belong here. This is crazy. So I don't even remember what your question was, but all that to say, this was super unexpected, like in this crazy way.
So like you mentioned there that you're in Greece and you hear that they're going to take this category away. Mm-hmm. So when you made your album, were you thinking like, I'm going to get this album nominated for a Juno? I'm going to like, had that crossed your mind before you heard that they were going to get it?
Definitely.
Why
Yeah.
is that? Why did you say I want to get nominated for a Juno? Like you kind of set that as a goal, or how's that?
Yeah, like I think just because the nomination really opens doors for artists, and you're not assuming that you're going to get a nomination, but you have to have an album in order to submit. And I'd never released an album before, so it was kind of like, this is my one shot at submitting. And then, you know, it goes to a jury, and then the jury votes on it. And so, yeah. And
Is it literally called a jury?
Yeah.
Really?
Like it's literally like, it's the Grammys. So there's the jury for the Grammys as well. But this is like the Canadian counterpart. Yeah.
So like, what do you have to do? Like, what hoops do you have to go through to get your album nominated for a Juno?
Full disclosure, you have to pay. They get you. It's not a lot of money. I want to say it's maybe 75 to like $120. Like, I don't remember, but you have to pay to submit, of course. you have to go through so much. Like, I mean, I even had to text my graphic designer who designed the album artwork, and I needed to be like, hey, Colin, SOS, like, I need an album digital booklet. Like, I don't have that. I would never make that. Like, you know,
Like, you
back
have
in the
to
day,
have that?
yeah.
Really?
You know, back in the day when you'd get a
Yep.
CD and you'd take it out, oh my gosh, I was such a sucker for those. Like,
Yeah,
I'd
me
read
too.
every word. Oh, it was so good. So I had to make that, for, you know, digitally, obviously, to put in with this. Like, they needed so many assets that I didn't have because I'm just this, like, little independent artist. So I was, like, scrambling, like, a couple days before, just being like, oh my gosh, we need this, we need this, we need this.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of work, but I mean, worth it. It's if you're wanting to consider playing, you know, or sitting at the big table of big people, you really have to do the big people stuff.
I had no idea. Like that people cared about the Junos as much as they do.
You know what? I think that for Canadian artists, it's this one thing that we have ownership of. Like, to see a Canadian artist get a Grammy, that's like super cool. But it's like, the Junos are ours. You know, a lot of times you don't see an American artist getting a Canadian Juno award. Like, if they're part of a project in Canada, sure, yeah. But, you know, for like a predominantly American just to come and get a Juno, it's like, no, hands off.
Well, coming from country radio, I know how important the Canadian Country Music Awards are to artists, right? That's for them, that's the big thing. And Junos they're there, but they're not predominantly country, and there's not a lot of country categories. So focus mostly on the Canadian Country Music Awards. So the Junos were always kind of an afterthought. They're there, but they weren't from that perspective as big as I don't think as a Canadian Country Music Award. But I do know, coming from that industry, how much it can change things to win anything, any kind of award. All of a sudden, like, bang. Now people are paying more to see you. Now people are, you know, you can charge more to go out to places and stuff like that after a win, right?
Yeah. I'm happy. Like, this is just me being honest and speaking candidly. I think the nomination for me was such a win. Like, getting nominated means that it's already gone through a series of votes and juries and people that are, like, deeming it credible enough to be listed with these, like, label signed artists. Like, Brett Kissel, also nominated for a Juno. Like, we're in the same, you know, I mean, we're not, but, like, in the Juno level, sweet. Yeah. We're at the same caliber at this very moment. And I'm just like, wow, I'm a huge Brett Kissel fan. So I'm just like, this is so cool. So, like, I don't know, it's just, it puts you at a different level to even get nominated. To win, like, that's its own thing. And I'm like, one of my good friends actually ended up winning the Juno for this category last year. And it's been so cool to see, like, his life unfold. And it's, like, wild to watch and, like, to be privy to that as a second hand. It's so cool. But I'm not banking on winning. I think, like...
Do you allow yourself to go there? Like, no. Do you allow yourself to think about winning?
No. Like, I can't. I have, like, this insane fear of rejection and failure. So, like, if I think too much about, like, the excitement of it and then it doesn't happen, I, like... That's it for me.
So you're coming off a big win in Saskatchewan as well. I don't want to diminish the Saskatchewan Music Award that you got. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was in Regina last weekend, I guess, and we were actually there already. It was so weird how my life really just revolved around Regina for a weekend. I've only been there one other time, and it was for a Rough Riders game when I was like 12. So, but that weekend we had a tournament for our kids. We had the SMAs, and my billboard for the Junos is also there. So I was like, okay, all of my life is all combining in Regina, Saskatchewan. So we went there, and I was like excited to go to the show, but I wasn't like, it wasn't like as big of a deal maybe as it should have been. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yep.
I went there just feeling chill, and I was just kind of like, if I win, I win. If I don't, like, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. But then when I won, I was like, this is huge. Because again, it was like the same feeling of pride for Lloydminster. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, oh, you guys, we got another award. Like, it feels like I just wanted to wrap our community in a big old hug and just be like, we did it again, you guys. It was so cool.
What do you what do you hope, what's next for Elenee? Like, what does this springboard you to? Like, are you hoping, like, do you not want to be like, I don't think anybody wants to be an independent. They want to have somebody to work with them and promote their music and pay for everything or pay for a lot of things.
Yeah.
But is that kind of the goal? Like, is that where you feel you're headed?
No, I don't want.
Because I'll tell you, like, you're a Brett Kissel fan, right?
Yeah.
So,
The drama.
So, like, years and years ago, when we were taking, through the Rotary Club of Lloydminster, we took some kids, some exchange students camping in the Northwest Territories.
Oh, wow.
And we had to pick up these vans in Edmonton to take them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like this
Oh my gosh,
Drive, I think
I'm
it's
so
called.
hungry, sorry.
It's called Drive or something. But I walk in, and I'm there to pick up a van. And who do I see running down the stairs? And he's literally coming out of his boots. Is Brett Kissel.
Whoa.
And Brett runs up and says, I just signed a record deal.
Whoa.
Yeah, I just signed my record deal, Kurt. And he was like through the roof.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's kind of gone back now
Yeah.
to get his music and everything, but at the time it was so huge for him. Like, he was literally jumping out of his boots.
Aw.
And he was looking for sponsors at that time. He's like, I'm going to be doing this tour. There, so I'm here looking for sponsors. These guys are interested, sort of thing. And it was just like, it changed everything for Brett Kissel.
Yeah.
Like you don't think about that. You don't.
I think when you said years and years and years ago, that gap so much has changed. Like, I think his deal when he signed it was probably amazing, and it put food on his family's table, and they got him on the road, and they got him doing showcases and festivals and albums and all things, which is so great. And of course, tours, those are so expensive. But at the end of the day, he was so happy to leave. And one must wonder why. And it really comes down to an artist feeling like they have ownership over something that is a piece of them. So when you lose that in exchange for the tours and like food on your family's table and like all the things, like, some people just weigh those out and they don't line up. So for me, I'm one of those people where, if the right deal comes along, it's a big if, it would be great, but I don't think that deal is real. You know what I mean? Like, pay for me to do an album and, pay for me to go on tour, and then don't take everything from me. And, I that's not real, because they're businesses. They have to make money. And
So what would be next, Elenee?
well,
Like,
I think to be able to have management would be really cool, because I have to advocate for myself all the time. I have a PR agent who sort of acts as management, sort of. Like, she takes on these roles that she definitely doesn't need to, but she is the best. I love her. Sharon, she's actually from Yorkton. She came with me to the SMAs over the weekend. She's so great and just works so hard. But her and I have both decided, like, she can only do so much, and having someone to step in as a manager would be like the next move. So we've, had some conversations and been talking, and we're not sure what the next step is in terms of who and when, but essentially, like, I am still very much involved in the restaurant. That's still, nothing's changed there. Still very much raising 2 children and, being a really businessy wife, as we talked about before. Taking care of my marriage, and, I'm involved in our church, and just like trying to be involved in the community in some respects. So it's like, I have run out of hours in a day to plan my own tour or to, advocate for myself. Here's the thing. I heard this interview one time by Hugh Grant, and I remember, this is going to sound crazy. I remember feeling like a light bulb when I heard him say this. So he said, and of course, it's Hugh Grant, so he's British. He was talking about how early on in his career, he had a separate email he set up for a man named James. So it was james@hughgrant.co.uk or whatever. And he would basically be James and Hugh. So when people would email him, he would say, I'm going to direct you to my agent, James. And then, he would log into James's email and respond. And after that, people took him so much more seriously, even though he was both.
right.
And it's the
I
same.
never heard that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's the same for artists, really. Like, people take you way more seriously when it's like, I'm acting, or I'm, hi there, I'm here on behalf of Elenee. My name is blah, blah, blah.
Well, Elenee's a big deal.
But
Now,
to
Elenee's
everyone,
a big deal,
not really.
right?
Well, I'm here on behalf of Elenee, Juno nominated artist from, whatever. It's just like, so having someone to act in and for me and advocate for me, I think would just be so much better of a situation than what I'm doing, where I'm like, please let me come to your venue, please.
Well, that's a good point. Now, we're going to take a break, but you remember from a year ago when we had Elenee on our program talking about her album, self-titled album, Elenee, that she mentioned she did not like performing in front of people. So has that changed? We will find out when we come back here at the new Lloydminster Nissan.
How can you help support the oil and gas industry and jobs in Western Canada? The answer is closer than you think. Sell your scrap metals to PWM Steel. PWM sells scrap iron to Evraz, located in Regina. Evraz's #1 customer is the energy sector, building pipes and plates for the oil and gas industry. PWM Steel is your locally owned metal recycler and steel service center in the area. Plus, they're a strong supporter of the community. PWM Steel, your top steel supplier for Alberta and Saskatchewan for 40 years.
At Jason Arden Associates Cooperators, we're proud to be a top-rated local insurance company that offers flexible solutions and expert advice for all your insurance and investment needs. We'll work with you to tailor your insurance specific to your needs, and we offer investment advice that always puts you first. At Cooperators, one of our core values is to give back to the communities that we live in. Thanks to the support of our clients in Lloydminster and area, in 2023, Jason Arden Associates has donated $40,000 to local nonprofits, charities, students, athletes, and other special events. How does your insurance company support our community?
I'm Brian Zinchuk of PipelineOnline.ca. I used to be a pipeliner, and I've spent the last 15 years reporting on energy in Saskatchewan. PipelineOnline.ca provides comprehensive coverage of light oil, heavy oil, lithium, helium, power production including coal, wind, solar, geothermal, natural gas, and nuclear. There's a lot happening in Saskatchewan's energy sector, and Pipeline Online is there for all of it. No one else comes even close.
It's more than just taxes at Elenee CPA. Assurance, accounting, retirement planning, estate planning, business consulting, financial consulting, farm program support, and bookkeeping. But yes, there is always taxes. The team at Elenee CPA is committed to helping you achieve your best results and will be there to assist you every step of the way. Elenee CPA, with offices in Provost, Vermilion, and Lloydminster.
Welcome back inside the new Lloydminster Nissan. We have Elenee here with us. I feel like you are that person in Lloydminster where I can just say your one name. I don't think I even introduced you as Elenee Young.
Well, because who has a name like that, really?
No, but I feel like you've reached that status here in Lloydminster. And, I know people always, coming from country music again, if you get to a point where you're one name, Dolly, Reba, Winona, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so true.
You've made it. I feel like you've made it in Lloydminster. And you're going to be performing in Lloydminster at the Vic Juba Theatre, October the 24th. Mm-hmm. And you told us about a year ago, you did not like getting in front of people and performing. Has that changed?
That has not changed. I'm terrified. But please come. Book tickets. No, I
Is it disappearing? Is it slowly going away?
Okay, so I did a show. This is like the saddest thing. I got to perform. I say perform. I got to do the national anthem in front of the Prime Minister last year. I don't know if we talked about that on the show, but I got to go to the National Prayer Breakfast.
I don't think so. Oh, yeah, you did, yeah.
Yeah, so I got to sing the anthem in front of so many dignitaries and the Prime Minister and people, and I actually got to perform 3 times over that 3-day span. And I was so sick. I didn't even realize that I had pneumonia at the time. I thought it was just a cold, so I was kind of just trying to pull myself together and get something out. I remember I had rehearsed the anthem in B or B flat, And I ended up singing it in F, which for any of the music people, like that's like 5 semitones lower. It's like, oh God. And I remember like the audience is so funny because these women were like they were trying to sing that low, but they couldn't. So they were singing like the octave and they were like, but then it gets really high. It was so bad. But anyways, because of the nature of the event and because it was the national anthem, I really didn't have to do much singing. It was like, you know, I'll start it and then people just kind of take it from there. And so I was happy to do that. But it was like, that was my one shot I felt like at really getting to perform and get all the wiggles out and just be like, okay, yeah, we can do this. And I was sick and I really didn't do the best. 2 months later, or a month and a half later, 2 months later, I ended up opening for a friend in Ontario and Ottawa as well, actually, for a concert. And so this friend is from Detroit. He had come up, and so I opened for him, and wasn't I sick again? And I'm just like, is my body telling me that these are not, like, what is wrong with me?
I bet it was.
But anyways, I was sick, and I made it through the set, but I remember, like, I had a fever. It was bad, and I tried to get through it, and I remember, like, I was looking at post-show, like, shots and all the reels that they had, and my face was so uninviting. Like, I was like, I'm just like trying to stay alive, honestly, for that period of time, that 30-minute set. I was like, if I can just live for the 30 minutes, everything is fine. So anyways, every opportunity that I've had to really perform, I feel like I'm either sick or I get so nervous and I'm just really shaky. So I have been working on changing that, and I think what is going to be really cool about this Vic Juba situation is that this will not be my first stop of a tour that I'm planning. So when I said, like, I need help with, like, a manager, like, this is the thing. Like, I'm just like, I'm the one that's like, hi, I'm reaching out on behalf of Elenee. It's me. I'm the one with the 2 emails. And so we've got a couple stops booked from now until then, and I have a band. I'm working with a crazy, crazy talented band. My MD, I'm not even trying to brag, but also I'm bragging on him, not me. My MD played at Connor McDavid's wedding. True story.
Really?
Yes, he played bass at Connor McDavid's wedding.
Okay, that's pretty awesome.
That is so crazy. So anyways, he's like that caliber of super talented. And so I've got this crazy band. Kagan, who is one of my dearest friends, like out of nowhere, we just connected over social media, and we've put out a lot of really great stuff together in terms of just like content. And we put out a song last year, and we're putting out another song in 2 weeks. He's going to be coming with me on tour. We're going to have so much fun. He is crazy good at just production, and he's a worship leader, and so there's that element, and he's just really gifted. His vocals are crazy. And so I feel like having someone that I have this camaraderie with on stage will feel so much more confident, and I'll feel so much better about it. I'm just talking and talking and talking.
No.
See, I'm already nervous just thinking about the event.
I think you, like, what can you do? Like, have you thought about going to anybody to help you out? Because I really feel like when you said, I can make myself sick with worry.
Yeah.
Quite easily. I can worry about something until the point of where I'm literally sweating. And I really think there's something to that.
Yeah.
Where you're like, how come every time I perform in front of people I'm sick? Like, have you thought about, like, can I go see a therapist? Can I get hypnotized? Like,
ooh, can you imagine? I'm just like all of a sudden I play guitar, like I'm like hypnotized into. No, I think it really is this thing where the more you do it, the better you are. And I look at someone like Jordan Pollard. I'm like, I'm gonna name drop her because she is one girl that I have watched. I feel like she was 12 the first time I ever heard her sing, and I remember being like, that girl is nervous. Not that I could have done any better, but like at the time it was just like, man, she's 12, she's in front of these people. It was at a Canada Day celebration or something, pancake breakfast in front of City Hall. She was there with her guitar, and I was like, girlfriend, like the guts you have to sing in front of all these people, but like, gosh, you're nervous. And I looked at her and how she performed in front of we did Maria's Days this past August. We had her singing, and like the crowd was not interactive. Like she's used to now interactive crowds. Like she sings at these really great events where people are like, "Wah!" And this crowd was very much like we pulled up our camping chair and we're just watching her perform, and she owned that stage. She owned it, and I feel like I could probably say on her behalf that it's because she's been doing it for that many years. I don't know how old she is, but since she was 12. And like, something has to be said for just doing the thing and maybe starting off kind of nervous, but the more you do it and the more, you know, audience interaction that you can make happen without it being really obviously weird, I feel like that's where you kind of start to shake the nerves away. And even in the cases where I have been really nervous to perform, it's like song 2 and I'm like, okay, we're here, it's fine. Song 1 was a little shaky. Song 2, we're good. Everything's gonna be fine. But you know, it takes this just, I think you just got to do it.
That's a good point.
I don't know.
So you mentioned the tour. Like, is the tour planned already?
It's being planned. So I have 3 dates on the calendar. We'll start with that. Of course, one of them being in Lloydminster on October 24th. One of them is in Barrie, Ontario in the first one's May 30th in Ottawa. And then the second one is May 31st and June 1st in Barrie. So now I'm just we've got a couple, just talking, me and Sharon, my PR agent that does so much, talking about getting some East Coast dates in Moncton and Halifax / Dartmouth. So that's kind of cool. That would be really fun. And then, kind of working our way to some Saskatoon, Calgary dates as well. So just making it happen.
Tickets are only $25.
Tickets are only $25. Literally, even if the show sucks, which it will not, you're only out $25. That's a really good way to sell tickets. No, the show's gonna be crazy, you guys. It's gonna be so good.
On the reel that I watched, where you're excited about getting your Juno and stuff, there's a little phone call with your mom, a little segment of your mom, and she's like, I think she says, I'm like, what am I wearing and how high are my heels? Yeah, that's what. So who's going? Who's going to the Junos? Do you have to go?
Well, maybe for someone like Brett Kissel, who's like, I've been nominated for, whatever, like dime a dozen for him. But for someone who it's their first time, they actually do a lot of really cool stuff for first time nominees. And apparently there is a record amount of first time nominees this year. It was like 21% of, it was either 21% or 21 of the nominees are first time. So that's huge. So they have a whole separate ceremony planned for us. They have, also I'm Indigenous, and they have like a whole Indigenous ceremony where they're going to be giving me a gift. I don't know. Like there's elements that I feel like a person that gets their first Juno nomination wouldn't want to miss. So we are going. We booked our flights like that day that we found out. My mom. It's me, my husband, and my mom. And I'm so excited to be bringing 2 other people from the community. I'm bringing Kim and Glyza. So Kim Caparel from Nara Studios, who's going to just do some like content for me throughout the weekend. And Glyza from Mayumi, that's Kim's wife. She's going to do hair and makeup. So it's going to be like a little Lloydminster block. We're going to have a little party.
And it's March 30th. So
March
when do you go out? Like
the 20.
You go for the whole week kind of thing?
Yeah, I think we're going to get there on the 26th or the 27th. Mm-hmm. Right. Until the 1st. Or 31st. Oh my gosh.
So you mentioned like our ceremony. So it's not on, we can't watch it on TV? Is that category on TV?
I don't know how it works out. So there are two events where they hand out awards. On the 29th is the gala, and I know that it's being recorded. I don't know if it's being aired live or if you can go back and watch it, but that's when my category is going to be given out. So like I won't get to touch Michael Bublé's bum or anything, but
you'll be at the awards show the next day.
But I'll be at the awards show, yeah.
Yeah. And sitting on the floor kind of thing?
Yeah.
Among the artists?
Among the artists.
Yeah. That'll be kind of neat, eh?
Maybe I'll get in some like B-roll, when like they, pan over to like Beyonce when she's like, I'll be in the background like, it'll be me.
Maybe somebody will win in front of you.
Yeah. How exciting. And I'll get to be on TV.
Yeah.
That's my one shot. Yeah.
We're all excited for you. I think everybody is really excited for you.
Thank you.
Excited to see what's next. Excited to see where this could lead. Excited that you're doing the show on at the Vic. When I saw that, I was like, yes. And then the first thing I thought of was, she doesn't like performing in front of people.
I love that you know that about me, and now the world knows even more.
Well, you told
It's
us.
gonna be
You
good.
told us on the last show.
It's gonna be good, you guys. Like, the show's gonna be so good. We have it all, like, the set's already mapped out. And I cannot confirm this because it's still very much in the early works, but there is some really cool interactive elements of this show because of past work I've done with creatives in our community. So, for example, possibly some live dancing from some of the dancers that were in a music video. I'm not going to name names, but that could be cool. And also possibly a maybe live saxophone player, maybe, because we have a song coming out with a saxophone solo from the community.
So you get a little extra here, is that what you're saying? At
I'm
this
just
show?
saying, no one else is going to experience those things. So for that reason alone, book your ticket. Come
Yeah.
see me. It's going to be so fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Am I forgetting to ask you anything?
I don't think so.
We've
This
gone
has been
quite
great.
in depth, eh?
Yeah, I've probably overshared as
Quite-
usual.
Quite in depth. So here's maybe this is. I want to ask you this too. What do your girls think? Do they know? Do they understand?
That's such a good question because, like, I feel they'll say stuff like, "Mom, are you famous?" I'm just like, no. Like, how does one answer that? In their world, probably, because I mean, I'm getting a Juno nomination. Like, people that I think that get Juno nominations, I think they're famous. But it's like, I don't want them to think fame is such a huge deal. So I'm trying to be really, like, protective of how they
But everybody in the
perceive
community
me.
feels like they know you.
Yeah,
right?
but it's always been like that, Kurt, from Spiro's. Like, it's always been this element of, like, I've always had, I don't know, it's really not, I don't want to call it privilege, or I don't want to call it anything other than what it is. Like, it's just, I've always been in our community, in the interworkings of the community. And so I've always had people, oh, you're Maria's daughter, you're Spiro's granddaughter. And, like, so that's just part of my life. This feels like an extension of that now, where in some ways it's like people will go to my mom or my grandparents and they'll say, your granddaughter. And it's like kind of flipped a little bit, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's like, it's about time for that because I have lived in their shadows for so long. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, being really protective of, like, not wanting to make an idol out of, being famous or make it a big deal, just living life. I'm going to Nashville next week for 5 days. And so trying not to be like I'm going to Nashville to, like, do Nashville things.
What are you doing in Nashville?
So I talked about Kagan.
Yeah.
Kagan lives in Nashville. So I'm actually going to meet Kagan for the first time in real life. I'm so excited. We're going to film content. We're going to, like, prepare for the release of the song, plan, like, promo and tour stuff. And then we're also going to do some writing, which will be really fun. And we're going to film a music video. So
Oh, filming.
so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So much stuff. But just, yeah, like, to answer your question.
We're gonna put a tariff on Elenee.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna
25%. I'm already paying tax by just paying the friggin' exchange rate.
Yeah,
So
you know
there's that.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elenee. Best of luck.
Thanks, Kurt.
We'll all be cheering for you.
Oh, this is yours too. This is yours too.
Nope, but everybody will be. I'm really excited for you, and I think everybody else is too. I feel it in the community. And while you won't let yourself dream of winning the award, the rest of us will. Thanks, Elenee. Elenee Young, everybody. I feel like we're going to have to pay you next time we have you on the show.
Oh,
so
geez.
we'll take advantage of it today. We'll be back with you tomorrow.